favorite way to distress? Welcome to MOGUL Radio, a platform where we sit and chat with today's innovators, collaborators, creatives, and honestly, friends. This is a platform where you can join us and just grow with us. Today we have Imaan Rose,
Hi.
popularly known as Inherited by Imaan.
Yes.
I'm sure everyone's seen that name somewhere. Everyone knows who she is.
I'm flattered.
But it's the truth.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I love Calgary. I love being around, and I love all the people who represent me. So I'm very, very happy to be here.
Thank you for being here.
Yay.
When I sent that email, I wasn't sure if you were going to see it, considering how many projects you had ongoing, and I was like, I'm just gonna shoot my shot in that sense and see if she responds. And
Well, no, I'm so happy you did. Email is the best way. DMs are a problem. Emailing me, I will see it. DMs, not so much. But
it's fair.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad that we have you on here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
How have you been? How's it really going?
Honestly, good. Busy. Time is flying. But I'm super grateful, super blessed. Busy is good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I saw you had an event yesterday.
I did. It was fun. I'm looking alive today, I hope. So, but no, it was a really great time. I got to spend time with my clients and my friends, and we did like a little Halloween edition. So everyone kind of dressed up, and it was a good time.
I didn't know how it was going to pan out. I was like, I hope she's not too drained for this.
No, I this is a priority for me. Like, this is what I was most looking forward to. And events, like, when I'm hosting an event, I have to take care of people. And so I'm not exactly partying and enjoying and draining myself in that way. So I'm working, I'm in work mode, and same thing here. Like, as much as it's fun, like, this is work, and I'm really blessed to be able to call this work. So
yeah, it is a privilege that not many have, but
right.
I guess people like us do have that too.
Yeah.
It's important to cherish it.
Absolutely. And acknowledge that. It's
and
huge.
Acknowledge it as well, yeah. So events is very different from what we know you for.
Yes, it's different from what I know myself as. It's new, it's fun, it's exciting, but events are important because I can't really do what I do without my network and my connections. And so having my people be able to expand and to meet with other people and to form those bonds is so, so special and important to me. So it helps with everything.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. How did you get into events?
I tried to do my own little pop-up event at this local lounge bar that I frequented. They had a really great patio space that was new, and so I wanted to be able to share that with my clients and with my friends. So I hosted a mini pop-up, and I called it Icon Night. And it was great. We had 5 different vendors. All of my really good vendor friends came through. We had a tattoo artist. Yeah, the lineup was ridiculous. I didn't even get to be tattooed at my own event, so it was crazy. But ever since then, I've had a few pop-up events myself, and then the events that I've been having recently is more of a celebration of everything. So getting everyone together, and instead of me bringing the clothes and providing that for people to buy, I like to let people bring things that they bought for me, or just kind of express their own style and kind of show that off in a very safe, non-judgmental space, kind of encouraging everyone to dress how you want, look how you want, just feel good, show up, and have a great time. So that was kind of what I was going for with these events, and it's been just that. So I'm really happy.
Was last night's the biggest one you've had so far?
Last night was interesting. This Halloween weekend has been long. It's been 2 weekends of Halloween. So I think everyone was pretty much Halloweened out. But no, I had a lot of people come by and come party with us. It's they're pre to the night for Halloween. So that was really cool. I got to see all my friends and familiar faces. So it wasn't the craziest event that I've had, but it was really awesome.
That's good. Sounds like a great time.
Yeah, it was a great time.
So we in the space, we know who you are and what you do. But for those who don't, I'd give you the floor to introduce yourself.
Okay, well, hi, my name's Imaan Rose. I'm the owner of Inherited by Imaan. What do I do? That really is the question. My work is very ambiguous. It's very limitless. I often find it hard to articulate exactly what it is that I do, but in simple terms, I'm a stylist. But really, I would define myself as a creative director, an entrepreneur, a trendsetter.
Trendsetter, indeed. How did you get into, I guess, this journey of being a stylist, creative director, and who Imaan Rose is?
Well, I've always seen things differently and felt things deeply. So ever since I could remember, I've always been obsessed with fashion, expression, and art. Growing up, sport was my outlet. For expression, it allowed me to perform and express myself in like the physical form. Um, and I never really had the opportunity to explore fashion on a personal level in my adolescence. I wore a uniform in school until grade 12. And then when I wasn't in school, I was in my soccer uniform. In school, I really pushed the boundaries and tried to like zhuzh the uniform up a little bit. I'm sorry to my teachers for that. I know it was frowned upon, but something about conformity just didn't sit right with me. So it was when I moved to Toronto for university that I started to tap in with like my personal style. And I realized that wearing sweatpants to the lecture hall wouldn't cut it. So every week I'd go to the thrift store and I'd try like a different style and find unique pieces to experiment with and, you know, just kind of figure out what made me tick. And in this process, I collected a lot of clothes, like a lot of clothes. So through this, I was able to develop my personal style. And then when I moved back to Calgary, because of COVID, Inherited was born. And it wasn't really on purpose. Moving back into my parents' house, my closet fell in over on itself. Like I had so many clothes, I didn't know what to do with it. And so I knew that was a sign. I called my friend Des. She was operating a vintage market at the time, and I used to shop there. So I called her and I was like, "Hey Des, like I have clothes, like I have a rack, I have hangers. Can I pop up? Like I've never done this before, but like, can I do it?" And she had faith in me, and she totally trusted in that. And she said, "Yeah, go for it." I was a disaster. Like it was a mess, but all I had were my clothes, hangers, and my rack, and I popped up. And to my surprise, it was a huge success. Like it was really well received, and everyone was really rocking with the pieces that I had. So after that, I kind of realized that I can justify going out and finding pieces that are one of one and curated to like my taste or taste levels that are, you know, out there for other people and to be able to offer that and like have a reason to shop. So if you're not addicted, if you're not obsessed, if you're not passionate, like then what's it all for? So you have to have that in order to succeed, right?
Fairs.
Yeah.
That is a statement.
Yeah, it's so true. I think like for me, passion and purpose is what drives everything. And without it, I wouldn't be inclined to do anything that I'm doing or be in these spaces and immerse myself in all the craziness. And that's why, like the passion is why.
The craziness is the beauty of it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's a double-edged sword. It can be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. If I'm not busy and if I'm not doing something that I love, I feel like, I'm whiling away time.
Yeah.
Not to say hanging with friends and, doing things outside projects aren't fun. It's just, I just get a lot of satisfaction from that. And
Absolutely.
I would imagine it's the same for you.
For sure. And the great part about that is even though it is self-driven and it comes from within those passions, you're able to connect and meet with people who feel the same way about a lot of these things without really realizing. So passion drives you in the right places.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Aside from being a business owner and running Inherited by Mon, you are also a stylist.
Yeah.
And one of your works recently got published on Avenue magazine.
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel?
Oh, it's incredible. It was such an honor to be able to work with Contra for the cover of Avenue Magazine Top 40 Under 40. Contra is just an absolutely incredible creative here in Calgary. She's one of two in a group called Cartel Madras, and her sister are absolute rock stars. But actually, she was the first person to kind of see the potential in me as a stylist. And I was just a baby. Like I really had no idea what I was doing. But she came to my first ever fashion show and saw what I was doing and asked if I could style the album cover for her and this collaboration project. And I said yes. And so Cartomadras came to the studio and we played dress up all day. We had the best time. And I really got to learn about the girls and find out, like what makes them tick and really bring out their rock star. And it was amazing to get to know them as people, as artists. It was an incredible experience. But that album cover actually was on Yonge and Dundas Square for Spotify. So in the heart of Toronto, on a huge, massive billboard, lit up, and it was the best, like the most rewarding thing to be a part of. And ever since then, like they've opened so many doors and opportunities for me to work in film production, commercial, runway, styling events, connecting me with their artist friends and their people. And it's really propelled who I am today and my brand as a whole. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah. Shout out to both of them.
Shout out to Cartel Madras, shout out to Contra, shout out Eboshi, shout out Iman Savati.
When you're styling someone, what goes into it? And like everyone has different style, and as a stylist, I believe you, and correct me if I'm wrong, you have to be able to, I guess, adapt to each and every one's personality and just bring out that shine in them.
Yeah, well, I'm actually so glad you brought that up because that's what most people don't actually realize. I think a lot of people think that as a stylist, I'm in control of what's going on and I dictate what people wear, but it's actually quite the opposite. My work only translates when you can tell the other person is absolutely feeling themselves, and that's what it is. So the styling process for me is I get to learn a little bit about the person, about their vibe. I'm very sensitive to energy, so I pick up on people's energy really quickly and I'm able to see, like even without them telling me what it is that'll make them pop, what'll make them tick, what'll make them stand a little bit taller and like push their shoulders back and like walk into that room. So getting to learn about the person and feeling that energy, I often let the person choose from a huge range of things that I've pulled that go with the vibe or whatever we're trying to get across for the styling. And they kind of choose what they really like. And then together we build and we accessorize. And as the styling process goes along, you can just see them light up. And that's when I know I've done my job. But at the end of the day, it's not about me at all. It's about the other person. And I'm so glad you brought that up. Wait, we should roll this. We should roll this. This is crazy that you said that. So tell me what you did. Levi's?
So that was 2023.
Yeah. And it was Tasia and
Jean.
Okay. And so my first ever fashion show, I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I was freaking out. And so I put out a model call and I said, hey, anyone in Calgary interested in modeling, like working on the runway, no experience needed, come as you are and apply. And I had like 75 applications and I never expected that anyone would even want to be a part of this. So for me, that's the most difficult part of my job, even to this day, is choosing people who represent me. Because I want a certain look, I want a certain vibe, and for me, it's all about the energy, but I think everybody's beautiful in their own way. So who am I to dictate what the definition of beauty is, right? Anyway, so I had 75 applicants. 2 of those were Tasia and Jean, and I had to book them because they're incredible people and talent. So they were part of my runway squad. Out of the 75, I chose 20 people. And
That's a huge cut.
It was, a huge cut, but also 20 people for a runway show, managing it myself with all fully thrifted head to toe items that I just happen to have in my collection is crazy, and making it cohesive and all the things. So we had 16 hours of fittings between 2 days and my 20 models. Everything head to toe, part of my collection, fully thrifted, sustainable. And all the pieces were cohesive, not only within their outfits, but with each other to create a story on the runway. So that was my first ever runway experience. And in that, I had no idea if the crowd was going to be 3 people or 30 people or 300 people. And to my surprise, we were way over capacity, like sold out show, like packed house. And we actually had to end up leaving the venue as soon as the show was over because it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I learned so much in that experience of managing 20 people, but also realizing that like I need to have trust and faith in these things and my ability and the people who surround me, that no matter what I do, I'm going to knock it out the park. Like it's going to be well received. And the people who are there, like they're there for a reason and they're bound to enjoy it. So that was amazing. And when I saw the Levi's ad, I was so proud because Jean, I met him and he didn't have any experience, but he had an amazing look and a great energy. And I told him, I said, I see so much potential in you and you could be doing big things. You could be the face of a lot of things. And same with Tasia, just like the energy and the aura and the spirit, and so talented. And these people, not only are they beautiful, but they're doing amazing things in life,
Oh no,
you
for
know?
sure.
And so seeing two incredible people that I kind of, they were willing to work with me and to be able to see their potential and then to see that on billboards for Levi's was, I think I cried. I think I actually did. So knowing that you were in on that is so full circle. I'm having a moment.
Just like how, you're finding that's the longest part for me. Finding the right models is
Yeah.
long. I remember we went through several days of search. Okay, this is a theme we want to go for. This is what we want to do.
Yeah.
And we went through not up to 70, but say like easily 40.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like when you're looking for talent and people to represent a brand idea, it's really tough because you want it to be alongside your vision, but who are you to be like, okay, you're good enough and you're not good enough? Like, that's just not how it is. Everyone has their own special look in their own special way, but it's just a matter of the project and the look at hand or the energy that we're trying to give off. And so for me, it's the hardest thing when I do a model call and I have so many people who are like, I would love to be behind the camera and I would love to represent you and I want to be dressed up and I want to be styled and I want to be, like putting campaigns. Like, I'm so flattered that people are even willing to put their time and energy towards doing those things. But for me to get back to people and like people say, next time, or like, I really appreciate your enthusiasm and, who am I to judge? Because I will say this, let's get a little vulnerable here. Growing up, I always felt like an ugly duckling. Like I was definitely really overweight, like not societal beauty standards. I had a hard time with like self-esteem and body image and, just existing within myself. Um, and so now to be on the flip side of things and, being in an industry that's driven by beauty and what is beauty and what are these standards, like it is really crazy to me. So being able to step back and when I'm working, like be myself as a child and say, okay, look, like everyone's beautiful. Like everyone has that potential. Everyone has it in them. You just got to like make them feel it, because here I am today and like, I love to get dressed up and I love to do things and like take the pictures and be at the places.
You are doing it.
Thank you. But like, if you would have told younger me that, I wouldn't have believed it. But that's just the thing. It's about confidence and being able to bring that out of other people is really why I do what I do.
Honestly, that's just life. And for those who don't even, I guess, make the cut, in these projects, it's not.
Yeah.
For me at least, I don't discard them. Like
that's just it.
In my head, I'm like, okay, you'd be great for this type of project.
100%. I have a list of every single person who has shown love, shown interest in anything. I invite everyone to all my events. I encourage everyone to come out, whether it's at my pop-up market once a month at Seconds Collective, or whether it's at my Inherited Icon Nights. I encourage everyone, if you want to be around the vibes, if you want to dress up, if you want to be in front of the camera, if you want to be seen, if you want to wear whatever you want to wear, those are the places. So even though I might not be hiring someone for a campaign, everyone's always welcome in these spaces and to be experiencing these things with me because at the end of the day, it's all a part of a bigger thing. So
no, for sure. Well, you guys heard it. Go visit her pop-ups and her parties.
Yeah, Seconds Collective once a month. It's been amazing. Basically, it's a collective of vendors. We have about 30 plus vendors.
Ooh.
Yeah, and we have different like vendors apply every single month, but we have a core group of people, and we pop up, and we have the most amazing supportive community of shoppers, but also vendors, and truly with my styling services, that is where I shop. Like people always ask me, how do you source your stuff? Like, sure, the thrifts are good, but it's a lot of time, it's a lot of energy and effort to go through all these things. But when there's these amazing curators who find the most unique pieces, that's where I shop. And I'm able to create the most amazing work out of the efforts of everybody. So for anyone who's looking to like experiment with style, even if it's not like hiring a stylist, go to seconds, go to these vintage markets and like try things on. It's always free to play dress up, but just like see what you like. And the best thing about vintage, about secondhand, is that it's one of one. The biggest flex I find is walking down the street and someone stops you and they're like, OMG, where did you get your jacket? And I'm like, I thrifted it. I'm really sorry. Like, you can't get it. You can't own it. You can't be me. You can't replicate me. You
I
know?
honestly need that flex in my life.
Yeah, it's the biggest
Actually, I do
flex.
have that flex in my
You
life.
do.
Sorry.
Everyone has it in their own different ways, but to be able to say, like, this is me and it can't be replicated, it can't be, redone because I'm doing it. So I find like nowadays the Zaras and the H&Ms and, these fast fashion companies that are everywhere, they're pumping out these trends and things that are so fleeting. And everyone's, buying these things and looking the same for poor quality and things that are going to be gone in a little bit. But with vintage and thrifted things, it's stood the test of time. Not only are like the quality of clothes that were made back then so much better, they're meant to live long and they've already lived a whole other life with someone else. So to inherit that and to bring that in and to say, no, this is being passed down and the value of these things is even higher because it's been inherited. And it holds a special value because it's seen life and it stood the test of time. And now I'm the only one who can own it. I'm the only one who's in charge of passing it down or anyone else having access to it. So it's really awesome.
I can't lie, that was a great pitch. You might have sold me on
Really?
that
I have
was very good.
I could go on and on about why inherited and like what that means, but like vintage and secondhand, I'll speak about the namesake of inherited. So inherited by Imaan, inherited to me really means like let me tell you a little bit about Inherited and why I chose the name. So, my name is Iman. And growing up, I never really liked my name just because people couldn't really pronounce it. I felt kind of awkward and I didn't really say it with my chest.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. It means faith, right?
It means faith. It means faith in Arabic. And that guides my life entirely is just faith and intuition and trust. But yeah, you're right. It means faith in Arabic. And growing up, I never really claimed my name as I should have, even though it's unique. So now being able to say inherited by Iman, just like really owning my name.
I just deeped it.
What?
Okay, sorry. Sorry.
No, you're
Go
good.
on. Go on.
But that's what I want. You see,
Yeah.
this is what I want. And so, yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's if you know kind of thing.
Yeah. That's insane. That's big ups to your
thank
team
you.
for that.
Thank you so much. But it's kind of me reclaiming my namesake and my name because I really wanted to run with the I theme. So, like, inherited, Iman, icons, just that iconography for people to recognize and have a meaningful impression. So the thing I love about my name now is that when you hear Iman, you associate it directly with me. You can't be confused with it. So when you hear that
Subtle
it's
flex.
inherited, when you hear that it's inherited because the value of the clothes that you're inheriting is so much greater than the initial cost of the clothes itself. When you're passed down an heirloom or something from someone else, the value of that thing is so much greater because it's lived a whole other life. It's seen the things and the energy of the person who is embodying the clothes or living their life. There's so many stories that you can make up in your head about who the woman was who wore this vest before me. And, in my daily life, when I wear this and I walk around, I hold that with me. And, it's more valuable than anything you could buy on the shelves, anything that you can buy online. So to me, that's really, really important. But you get it, hey?
I just, I hadn't really deeped it much until you said it.
No one does.
That's insane.
Yeah.
You've done a great job on your branding, and I'll give you accolades for that.
I appreciate that. One of the comments that I've received, everyone really does love the name Inherited, and I really love it too. My dad had something to say about that. He said it seems a little pretentious. And I said, well, you see, here's the thing. is that I'm going into these thrift stores, into these charity shops, and I'm buying a shirt for $3.99. But I know the resale value of this is actually $85. So it's not actually about how much you spend on something or what it costs to get that look. It's about the value, the intrinsic value that you place on these things that has no price tag. So saying inherited or that kind of thing, like you are inheriting it. It is an inheritance because, the value is just that.
You've obviously thought about your whole branding and you're executing it
And you know what's crazy?
immaculately.
Thank you. But you say that, and inherited was not even supposed to happen. It was fully a passion project. Like it happened on a whim and because my closet fell over, really. And so like I do everything that I do is with great intention and thought. But when it came to creating Inherited, it was just immediate. Like the name was Inherited. And even my logo, like the first draft that I did, I was like, that's my logo and that's my name. And this is what I'm sticking with. And I've not changed a single thing since. And I was telling you on the elevator right up here that my biggest thing is brand recognition and continuity. So being able to have a voice and for someone to see something and it doesn't have any logo, any imagery, anything, but for them to be able to look at it and to say, oh, that's Inherited. That's why I do what I do. So
Yeah. We follow each other. I was looking at your Instagram and you've curated your aesthetic as well.
you think so?
To me, it seems like
appreciate that.
there's a particular edit in, I guess, photo style that you can tell, "Oh, she definitely took this photo. This is from
Yes.
Imaan."
Yes.
And I don't know, did
Well,
you do
thank you
that
for
on
noticing.
purpose?
You know what? It's not on purpose, but like I said, it's that voice. And I'm very true to myself. The only thing that I base my decisions off of and my work off of is what I want to portray and how I want to do things. Like nothing else dictates or influences my final product other than how I feel and what I want. So that's really lovely that you're able to pick up on that. But what I will say, and I try not to spill the secrets too often, just because
It's okay to gatekeep a
yeah,
bit.
I mean, yes, to an extent, but I'll tell you the secret. For me, less is more. And like Virgil Abloh said this. He said, if you put a empty, crushed up tin can by a pile of garbage, it's going to look like garbage. But if you put an empty, crushed up tin can in a white room and call it an exhibit, people will flock. So being able to put my subject in a space that is limited with distractions, but you know exactly what the person's eye is going to, and you know what you're trying to portray in that and the story you're trying to tell, that's what it's all about. So I think that's what you picked up on is that, recognizing that you can tell when it's something that I've done is because I'm very particular. Anyone who really, really knows me knows that I'm very particular in everything that I do, but it's just a feeling and it's just what I want. And being able to, have other people see these things and to be able to appreciate the things that I like is so fulfilling.
That's no, you've done a great job
Thank you.
in your branding. Creating a brand is never easy. And I want to ask you, what challenges have you faced,
Yeah.
creating Inherited by Imaan?
Yeah.
Now, you don't call yourself a stylist, but being this stylist, being
Right.
this icon that everyone knows.
Oh, flattered.
true.
Thank you. I find that in everything there will be challenges, but that's what makes it really rewarding. I wouldn't be in the places that I'm at today without facing these challenges because it helps me plan my next steps and be able to move differently in the future. One of the biggest challenges I find is just being an independent, self-driven, I'm a one-man band, so sometimes having that inner drive to like get the things done and that inner motivation to do the things because at the end of the day, no one else is checking in on me to see if I've done the things or, what my progress is. It's all like from within. Just to be on top of my stuff and organization and management is really tough. I find the toughest thing is managing other people. And then the last challenge I'd say is just like having that self-confidence and knowing that like no matter what I do, I'm going to knock it out the park. Just as long as I'm in there and I'm in it with passion and intent and purpose, then I'm going to kill it. But just reminding myself that, no matter what you do, like you're not going to fail as long as you have that passion and you have that drive.
You said the word fail. What are some lessons you've learned from quote unquote your failures?
Yeah. Well, I like that you quote failures because I truly believe that like failure is not final. It's not always butterflies and rainbows, but I think failure only exists when you don't get up, like when you can't pick yourself back up. That's when you fail, when you succumb to the failure. Otherwise, there's no such thing as failing. Sports were my entire life growing up. And one thing that I always kept in my head when I was playing soccer was fall down 7, stand up 8. So even if you fall down, like as long as you're up, like you're never going to fail. You're only failing when you fall down 7 and you stay 7, you know?
That's good. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I don't even know where I came across it, but I must have been like 10 years old when I heard it, and it stuck with me. So I sport and fashion, actually, a lot of people would think they have nothing to do with each other, but for me, there are so many similarities between
Sports.
athletics
Yeah.
and fashion, and it just blows my mind now that I'm an adult and I can like look back and comprehend these things, because at one point in my life I really thought that soccer was it for me and that's what I would be doing with my whole life. And then I got injured, and things change and you have to adapt and improvise. But I really thought that was it for me. And so being able to perform and to be able to work in a team and to be able to have a common goal and to be able to celebrate at the end and to have hard times and to lose sometimes, that is what life is. It's not a game. It's not football. It's not soccer.
Yeah.
It's life, so being able to translate that into fashion and realizing that you get to work with teams and you get to express yourself and you get to show off your talent and you get to be, you get to physically put something out there. It's very hand in hand with me. So yeah, I'm really appreciative for like my background in sports, but I was a goalie playing soccer my whole life. And initially I hated soccer. I hated sports. I was super overweight as a kid, wanted nothing to do with it. My family's super athletic, so I was forced into soccer. And I was asked if I wanted to be a goalie on my like Timbit soccer team, like the little league soccer team. And I said yes, because that means I didn't have to run around. I just got to stand in the back of the net and I got to chill out while everyone runs around and hustles and bustles. And so I was like, yep, sign me up to be a goalie. And so at first I was just happy to be there, and then I realized that like, okay, there are people depending on me. I can see the entire field. I'm able to direct everyone and like foresee what the play that's about to happen next, and to be the last line of defense and know that I'm accountable and people can trust me. And that's what really made me fall in love with it. So I got, in shape and I fell in love with the sport. And then just realizing that I can be that backbone and I can be that person. And I'm also able to have a voice and I can direct and I can have a vision and I can help people, play out what they want to do to achieve that end goal. It's been really nice to be able to translate that into fashion.
Yeah, I love that it was football that soccer.
Yes.
It was football that got you, well, not got you, but the lessons you've learned from football is what you're translating into fashion.
Absolutely.
I'm a big football fan, so
yes.
to hear that just it makes me feel happy, and I love the switch at the end where at first you're like, oh, I don't get to run and I don't get to do much, which is not true. Goalies actually, you just like you said, last line of defense. They beat you, please. It's now you versus the striker or whoever is one on one with you.
Everyone depends on me. Like I have 10 other people out there depending on me. And so it's crazy because although I was like super overweight and like just did it to like not run around, I actually ended up like playing at the highest level I could possibly play at and being the fastest girl on my team, like outrunning every single girl, even the track stars. And I put that passion and that fire for like it wasn't about being the fastest. It wasn't about, anything. It was about I have a passion and I have a reason and I have a purpose. And for that reason, I'm going to be the best that I can be in order to, provide for other people.
No, to have that self-awareness as a kid, man, big ups to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I was like the smallest keeper in the league. Like I'm 5'3". I like to wear heels a lot, so you can't really tell that I'm not short. But yeah, man, I had hops. I could go post to post. Like that was really my whole life. But that just goes to show that it doesn't matter what you have on the table, as long as you have that fire inside you, you can do the things. Like you can be big.
That's fair. Do you have a favorite football team?
And you know what? Like I love playing soccer, but I never was into watching. Something about watching made me feel the need to kick a ball around, so I couldn't sit still and just watch. Like I can appreciate the art of soccer and I enjoy a good game from here and there, but I know how political football is, and so for when people ask me stuff like that, I really can't say too much because it's like it's a lifestyle. Yeah, I understand.
I'm laughing because I know you're looking at me. I know Jess is looking at me. And she
Yes,
said,
I know, and so I can't say anything because
"Oh my
it
god!"
would kind of be bullshit.
Yeah,
Because I can't give you a proper answer. Yeah.
yeah. We love football, though.
My
Football's like
answer is I like the team with the coolest jersey.
great answer,
Yeah.
honestly.
So whoever has the best kit that year is who I'm cheering for.
Which could still also be political. We can get.
Which is also political. Actually, it's funny you say that. So my job is trend setting. Like at the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to do. When I'm sourcing these pieces and when I'm thrifting, it's not about thrifting things that are on trend. It's about foreseeing the trends that are about to happen and are about to pop off. So there's something called a trend cycle, and we realize that everything comes back. And it's not just trends in fashion. It has to do with sociological trends, like economically, politically, all these things play into fashion and lifestyle and our environment, all the things that you see around us today. So, in this trend cycle, I do a lot of research and I try to foresee what's coming up next and then go to the thrift store and go into the past to pull inspiration and reference and, like kind of show people that you can just take exactly what's already been done and the influences of the past and use it in like a more forward and modern approach in a way that no one's seen it before. One thing I will say, this is like my tagline, and I always tell people this whenever they, try something that's like a little out of their comfort zone. It's good to be tastefully offensive. Like, I want people to look at me and kind of cock their head and think twice, Like, I want to make an impact and I want people to have something to think about. So even if they walk away from that visual encounter or that experience being like, and then a year later, they're like, oh, she was doing that a year ago. To be able to resonate with someone or to be able to take up someone's energy in a way and then, you know, build that trust that like in a year, it's going to happen. So it's been really nice to be doing what I'm doing for about 2 years now, because I've built that rapport and people have seen that like, even though it might look different when you first see it, a year later, people are crawling hands and knees to get to these trends. But like, if you would have stuck with me a year ago, you would have seen that we've been doing this. We've been doing it. So my job is um, not to cater to the trends. My job is to make the trends and to make that accessible to people in Calgary. I think people often think of Calgary as like a boring city or a place with not much flavor and whatever. But I completely disagree. I completely disagree. I think there's so much potential in the city. And I think it's just a matter of having access to, these experiences and these events. And for example, pop-up markets. A lot of the comments that I receive are, I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know this was happening. And so my role with Seconds Collective is marketing. So I'm pushing out marketing to everyone in the city. It's been really, really rewarding to be able to cater to a mass audience, whereas Inherited is very niche. It's like Inherited for me is like, if you get it and you like it and you rock with it, amazing, come with me. And if you don't get it, I'm not for you, and that's totally cool. But when it comes to marketing on like a mass marketing scale, which is what I've been doing with Seconds, is being able to tell everyone in the city that you can access these things and you need to come check it out and you need to experience this and play around with style and realize that like sustainability is really important. We haven't even really touched on that, but sustainability is not just like a way of dressing cool and dressing vintage. It's like there's so much more to it than just having something that no one else can have.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about thrifting. I go like almost every day or whenever I'm inclined to. But if you were to actually go through every single item on the shelves, on the racks at the thrift store, you would be there the whole day trying to go through everything, right? Like there's hundreds of thousands of items at the thrift. And so for me, I've kind of curated it down to a science. Like I walk in there, I know their inventory like the back of my hand. I know how to read their tags and in their code read when it was process, when it came in, that kind of thing. But I'm also able to tell just by looking at something amongst a sea of clothes on the hanger what material it is, what the cut it is, what brand it is, even. So it's really cool. I just scan all the aisles, and every time I come up with gold. So it's a science for sure. It's a lot of patience, and it's crazy because I actually lack a lot of patience in my everyday life. Like, I do have a lot of pet peeves.
Speaking about pet peeves, what are some of your pet peeves?
You know what? I think one of my biggest pet peeves is when people feel like they need to dress according to like the way they feel like they want people to see them. I think you should dress the way that you want to dress. I think you should express yourself the way you want to, and I don't think there should ever be any boundaries. One of my favorite thinkers, his name is Rick Rubin. He has done some amazing things. He produced for the Rolling Stones, Kanye, Michael Jackson, like U2, some of the biggest names, but he actually has no formal training. He can't read music. He doesn't know how to do any of that stuff, but he is so extremely successful and very, very trusted. But he says that his biggest strength in life is that he has no boundaries because he hasn't been formally taught what's right or wrong. He's had no one tell him this is what you can do and this is what you can't do. He just does. So by setting boundaries for yourself and by limiting yourself, that's where, you're holding yourself back. But the moment that you're able to say there are no limits, there are no boundaries, and there's no such thing as right or wrong, I'm going to do what I want to do and trust that if I believe in myself, then people are bound to do the same.
I'll have to give Rick Rubin a
I'll give you a
search.
copy of the book. I have like 5.
Say less, I'll take you up on that.
Honestly, it's the greatest gift that I can give to someone, especially creatives. I find as a creative, people who aren't really in the creative industries or are, you know, they think differently and they see things a little bit differently, which is great. But as creatives, the best thing that I can do is like put people onto like how I think and how I feel and that free game, and to be able to like receive that from other people as well. So yeah, I love sharing like my thoughts and these things that I learn, and yeah.
It's pretty good. On the topic of fashion,
Yeah.
what fashion trend would you kill right now if you had the power to?
Fashion trend that I would kill right now? You know what? That's a really tough question because there are so many trends that go around constantly. It seems like every time I open my Instagram, I go on Pinterest, there's a new trend emerging, and it's really, really hard to keep up. So the trend that I would say needs to be killed is micro trends. And when I say micro trends, it's just those things that pop up, are viral, and then they disappear. So I like more longevity. I like things that have a little bit more substance.
What are some of those micro trends that, I guess, stood out to you that you detested, Rue?
And you know what? I can't say that I've detested anything because I can understand there's a level of appreciation and understanding of where that's coming from and what the appeal is, because it's, and as a stylist in my line of work, a lot of the things that I style people in are things that I would never even think of wearing or want to wear myself. So I have to remove the personal from that. And so I can't really be too critical of these trends because you know what? There's something for everybody. And if you like it, go for it. But yeah.
That's a good answer, I guess. To each.
To each their own, for real.
Yeah. Anyways, Imaan,
Pleasure.
Pleasure having you on here.
I had the best time. And it's so freeing to be able to sit here and talk to you about the things that go on in my head that I'm not able to express. And to be able to share that with other people. So I really appreciate it.
I'm happy to have you on here, and I'm happy you got the chance to share it.
Thank you.
More to come for sure.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
No problem. Well, deuces.
Yay. Amazing. That's so fun, you guys.